So we're gonna go over how to properly use the push app and push band when trying to measure velocity with our clients or our athletes. So first, when either using an iPad or one of the iPods, we're gonna wanna go to the push app. So that's this black P down at the bottom here. So we're gonna open the app up. And this is the main screen that's gonna pull up. Then from here, it's gonna ask you to pair one of the bands. So we've got our push sensor here. What we're gonna do, there's a button on the top. Hold that top button until it lights up. It's gonna flash on blue. So it'll keep flashing blue until it gets connected. So on the bottom here, I'm gonna click pair push band. And if you're only trying to connect one at a time, then the one that shows up is the proper sensor. So I'm gonna tap that band, and then I'm gonna be choosing two different modes. So body mode or bar mode. So this depends on what exercise you're gonna be doing with the athletes. So if we're doing body mode, we have two different options on how to actually connect it. So we can use the strap here that can be attached around the forearm or the elbow. So when doing that, what you're gonna do is take the push symbol, slide it through where the P is. There's a letter P on the sensor here. So we slide that through until it's tight, and then back up on the other side. So then they're able to slide their arm inside, pull it tight, and attach using the Velcro. The other way that we can measure in body mode is by using the waist strap. So the waist strap is much bigger here. And for this one, the same kind of thing. You're gonna take the letter P, go P to P, push it through, slide it through the other side. And then on the far end, it goes through the clip here. So for this one, when you're setting it up and it goes around the client or athlete's waist, the push band itself needs to be facing up towards the ceiling and sitting on their spine. So it's in line with their spine. And as for the height of it, it needs to be in line with the iliac crest. And then we just pull it tight so that it's secure on the body. So whenever you're using one of those two straps, make sure you select body mode. The other mode here, the bar mode, that's when we're gonna have the sensor attached directly to the bar. So then we're going to use this attachment here. There's a little spot here for you to slide it in, and because there's a little spot here so you can see the light, you know that it slides in face first so that once it's in and secure, we're able to see our light. So we know if the band is turned on or off. Then you would simply wrap this around the bar and attach it using the Velcro. So that's how you know what selection to make when choosing body or bar mode. So I'm gonna be going through cleans today. So pretend we're doing clean, so I'd click bar mode and I just tap off to the side and we're good to go. If for some reason that didn't come up for you to connect, you're gonna click the top left corner here, the three lines. The very bottom here, it shows a push band and it currently says connected and it tells us how much it's charged. If there wasn't one connected, this would be blank. And I would click that and then I'd go through the same protocol of clicking connect push band and choosing which one I'm going to use. So from our main screen here, if we need to get someone first set up, I'm gonna click the very top right corner. So we have options. It says coaches or Peaks members. Coaches is if one of us as coaches is using it. Peaks members is for all our members here. So I'm gonna be adding a new member. So I'm gonna click Peaks members, and we have a list here of all the members who currently have a profile. If we need to add someone new, we're gonna click add new athletes and fill all this out. So first we'll type in name, height and weight, date of birth, gender, and it makes you write in city. So always write in Mississauga there. As for email password, don't worry about filling those out. That would be only if we were using the push portal. And then it asks what their level is in regards to lifting. So there's beginner, you can slide it, novice, intermediate, advanced. Honestly, that part doesn't really matter what you select, but you can choose for an individual if you'd like, and then you would just save their profile. So then once a profile is saved, they would then come up in the Peaks members. So I'm trying to find a member here. I'm gonna click Peaks members. Most recent ones are listed at the top. You just have yourself or the client slide down until they find their name. Say I'm helping Megan Carter today. I'm gonna click Megan Carter's profile. It'll automatically now track everything under her profile. So from here, now I need to choose an exercise. So if I'm doing a back squat, deadlift, or bench press, I can choose straight off of the main screen here. I just highlight what exercise I'm using, and at the bottom here, it shows how much weight. So I'm gonna click and type in however much weight I'm doing. So say I'm doing 135 pounds, type it in and click set load, and then I'm good to start. If I'm doing another exercise, I need to go to more exercises. So once I'm in there, I can search any exercise I want. Generally, we especially use this a lot for hang cleans. So I would search hang or clean and see what comes up. And then once I see all the exercises here, I'm gonna choose the proper one. As you can see on the right-hand side, there's little stars here. So if there's an athlete that does certain exercises a lot that we use this for, if we star it, then when we first open the more exercises tab, they're already at the top, so we don't have to search for them. So it just makes things a lot faster and easier. So any exercises that athlete's gonna be doing a lot of, make sure to star as it's specific to the profile as to which exercises are started. So say I'm doing hang clean today, I'm gonna click hang clean, and now it says hang clean at the bottom here. And then same kind of thing as with the squat, deadlift, and bench, I need to choose what weight I'm doing. So I'm gonna tap the darker square here and type in however much weight I'm gonna be doing on the bar, click set load, and then we're good to go. The other option, which we can do to show parameters, is setting a cutoff. So if we click on the top corner here, the top middle, sorry, we have different options. So there's a velocity loss cutoff. So whatever one of these I turn off, it'll end up showing us when we actually do our jump or clean or whatever exercise we're doing. So I can set a cutoff based off of their velocity. So any percentage I want, so say for cleans, I want after their first rep or their best rep, I have to choose them to keep going until they lose 10% of that speed. So I would choose first rep, 10%, done. And then when they go, if they're staying above that 10%, it'll flash green. If they're below that 10%, it'll flash red, so they know that they have to cut their set off. Another way we can choose cutoffs is absolute velocity. So if we click that one, then we can set the exact velocity at which we want them to stay above. So if I want an athlete doing a clean at above 1.5 meters per second, I just set up 1.5, and then anytime they're above 1.5, it'll flash green. Anytime they're below, it'll flash red. Another option that Push has is based off of training goals. So if you want, you can even put in what goal they have. So say they have a strength goal that they have in mind, you click that, and then it gives you a range in which they should be in speed-wise that is specific to working strength. So once I have that all set up and I'm ready to go, what I'm gonna do is tap the top of the push sensor here. So once I tap it, it's gonna turn green and the screen is gonna load up, go. So say I'm doing my hang clean, I go up, do one, it should load up. There we go. So then it ends up showing our speed here. So it tells you what rep you're on, the speed at which that movement was, and then if I do another rep, it'll show in graph form if it was faster or slower. So this is where the cutoffs will come in. So say my cutoff was a 3.0, then instead of this showing up green, it would end up showing red. So then the athlete knows if they're within the proper zone that you want them working within. Once the set is done, they can either click end set on the bottom or tap the top of the sensor here, and it'll start counting their rest time. Now for us to actually view and see how their set was, there's a little graph on the bottom here. Give that a tap and it'll load up their exercise. So bottom left here is going to say the percentage of velocity they lost compared to their last set. This was our first set, so that's always going to show 0. The middle one is our average velocity in meters per second for the set. And then the far right is how much meters per second they increased or decreased compared to their previous set. Again, this is the first set, so it's not going to show anything. On top of that, if you click each individual rep, it'll give you data on, if it says peak, the peak is their maximum velocity or peak velocity throughout that whole movement. And the average is what their average speed was throughout the whole movement. So during this hang clean, I peaked at 1.19 meters per second, but I averaged throughout the full movement going 0.66. So most exercises, you're really only going to pay attention to our average speed. It's only certain exercises that really it's just the hang clean and the snatch where we actually pay attention to max velocity. The rest of them, it's the average throughout the movement that we want to pay attention to. We can also take a look and see how much power they produce in that set. So for power, we're going to click the top right here, and then same thing, it's going to show us our average amount of wattage and power that we produced for that set, how much we lost percentage-wise, and how much we gained or lost in wattage. And then same thing, if I tap, it'll show me my peak power and my average power throughout the movement. So once the athlete is rested, they're ready to go again. If they're not changing weight, they can just click the top button. If they need to change weight, you're gonna click finish, tap where the weight is, and type in what their next weight is for the set before they go. Now, only other things that we could potentially use this for is if you click the top left there, there's also a test section. So in tests, there's a bunch of different tests that you can do using the band. So we can test 1RMs for back squat, bench press, and deadlift. So based off the speed of the bar with the reps you do and weight you do, it can calculate what your estimated 1RM is. We can also do jump testing. So camera move and jump with the arms, without the arms, a squat jump. And then also check the reactive speed index here. So RSI of a drop jump or stiffness jumps. This one is just 10 repeated jumps in a row as high as you can. Whereas the drop jump, it takes the average of your contact time and your height and then divides them by each other to give you a score. So that's our test section. And then the only other thing where we may choose our parameters is in settings. So in settings here, we always want to keep units at weight, the units for weight at pounds, and height at feet. The only thing we really are going to manipulate here is what kind of peaks we're showing. So when it says show peaks here, if I have that turned on, that means it's going to show me my max velocity or my peak velocity through that movement. So that's when we're doing a hang clean or a snatch. We want that turned on. So that's what speed flashes in front of us. If I have that turned off, then it's always going to only show me my average velocity throughout the movement. It also shows just below that real-time peaks. So the real time means it shows you as soon as you do that first rep. So when we did that jump, that hang clean there, and it popped up 1.19 right away, that means it's in real time. It's showing us after each rep what ours is instead of just showing us at the end. So if it's real time peaks turned on, then it's going to show you your max velocity. Whereas if peaks are turned off and real time peaks are turned off, then it's only going to show us real time for our average velocity. You can also have real-time beeping on as well. So then it'll beep for the athlete if they are within the zone or outside of the zone that we have set. And you can also have it, so if you have a specific rest time in, you have end of rest time beeping turned on. It'll beep once their rest time's over so they know that they need to start again. So other than that, that's really all we need to know for it. Just make sure if you have to switch between clients, you just click the top right, you go to choose the next client, and then they can go. So multiple clients can go through at the same time, and it keeps their data there. So if I were to go and check Megan's data, on the top right corner here, there's arrows, and I flip it. It still has her current workout saved, and her rest time is actually still running, so she can continue her workout. Once she's fully done, we just want to flip over to this section here and click End Session. We're going to say yes. You can have them rate how their workout was out of 10, just on that exercise alone, and then it'll give you a summary on how it was compared to other workouts that they had. Lastly, right before we end up finishing, we want the band to turn off. So I'm just going to hold the top button here until our light completely turns off, and that means it's off and we are good. That is all for the push walkthrough.